Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
Good to have you on the show. This is Omobola Stephen, the host of Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. On Life Well Lived, we like to explore topics that are disruptive yet constructive in nature. Topics are on the self-improvement and personal development. We come to understand the importance of embracing personal development and self-improvement along the course of our lives, because all of the innate gifts, sets, the potentials that lies within us can only come to the fore, be harnessed, and truly maximized and even enjoyed to the fullest when we can look within, ask the right questions that needed to be asked, and do the necessary what needs to be done. And I tell you, if we continue to improve ourselves and also self-develop ourselves, we will move from where we are to where we need to be. Now, it's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's an effort that we keep on doing till we really get the best of what we want out of life. Now, this is the mission and the focus of Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen, shining more light on what is truly inspiring and also transformational. Today, I have Cathlene Miner, who is the founder and CEO of Hopefull Handbags Global Incorporated. She is a super mom and also a stay-at-home mom. Now, we have an interesting topic of discussion today. I needed to stay right back and listen to what we'll be discussing today about stay-at-home moms. Welcome, Cathlene, to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's super exciting to be here.
Super excited also to have you, Cathlene. We will be talking about stay-at-home moms. I know that you have a lot to share with my audience, and we're looking forward to a great time. Now, to the stay-at-home moms, how really can they keep themselves sane and motivated? I'd like you to share your personal experience, if this will suffice.
Yeah, so sane and motivated. Wow, I've used that word before too, sane. How do you stay sane? You really don't all the time, to be quite honest with you. And I think, like, as you've alluded before, we try to have balance, and there's really no balance. There's no way to ever have that exact balance. Now, that's probably with just about everything in life, but coming from a stay-at-home mom perspective, you are at home with children. So it's not like you're dealing with adults here. So you're dealing with people, little people, that their brains aren't fully developed. So when you're trying to rationalize with them, it's a full-time job, number one. But then again, I have found for me personally, that has been the most fulfilling job that I've ever had. And I can say that looking back because I was a stay-at-home mom for over 20 years. Over 20 years. And it's a crazy to me to think about those numbers. And now I have grown children. So my oldest is 32 right now. Then I have a 29-year-old. I have a 20-year-old, and I have an 18-year-old. And I have 3 grandkids. And so now I'm looking at it also as a different perspective too. So my daughter, who has the 3 girls, is a stay-at-home mom that homeschools her girls. So I'm being able to now see it from the other side as well and be able to help her through the journey. And some days are just really, really hard. I homeschooled my 2 youngest when I was a stay-at-home mom. I think that was absolutely an amazing thing. Now, and the thing that's funny about that is when people found out I was homeschooling my 2 younger kids, that I'm not like, I don't know what type of person that really is, but they didn't think it was me. You know, they were like, you are doing what? Like, you? Absolutely, because I knew what was best for my kids at that time. But being sane some days is really hard. I will tell you, it is hard to find time for yourself. But you do have to really focus on, either, for me personally, it was getting up extra early. Like that was my secret. My secret was to get up before everybody else in the house. And I'm on such a schedule like that. I still do that today. Even though it's just my husband and I at home, I still get up at the same time because that is just my routine. And I know that it has worked for me for so many years that I figure, why am I going to change that?
Cathlene, you talked about routine here. So with the busy schedules most people run, especially we mothers who juggle between personal life, doing school runs and other stuffs. How can a routine with their health and fitness, how can it really help them to create the life they are looking for?
I think a routine with health and fitness was everything for me. For my sanity, it made me feel better, right? Because my blood was pumping. And I knew that for health reasons, not so much for the way that I looked, but to be able to keep the blood pumping through my veins and to be able to keep up with my kids, to be quite honest with you. So I've used my early mornings as my time to do that. That is when I do my exercise in the morning before everybody gets up. And also the routine allows me something to, okay, I'm getting out of bed. Now, the only time that I found this to be really challenging, and those all of we're moms, right? We can relate to the fact that when you've got a newborn, of course, or, those younger kids who get up all hours, that's a little bit more challenging. But once sleep is really starting to get onto a schedule, I found that the blood pumping in the morning. Now, whether you're an avid exerciser or you just need to get moving, I know just from a fact, not only scientifically, but I've also been a personal trainer for women often for over 30 years. So I know what it does for people. And I know that moving and pumping, I don't care whether you're just jogging in place, like you don't even have to have exercise equipment. And that's what I love. You could have just a little space that you can stand up in, then you're set. You can do exercise every morning. I also found that routine helped me to stay on a routine as much as I could, at least for the kids. And if the routine got off track, which it does, then I felt like, you know what? I already had my time. So I'm okay now. I didn't, because when you wait, tell me what you think, but when you wait to do things for yourself throughout the day, 9 times out of 10, it does not happen. It just does not happen.
Cathlene, really, are stay-at-home moms, are they really happier? Or do we have any stereotypes or stigma?
Are we happier? Is that what you asked?
Yes. Is there any stereotypes or stigmas out there?
I don't think we think we're happier sometimes. I'll be honest. Just my own experience. I think in general, this is just my experience and the experience I have with other stay-at-home moms that I've helped through the years, is that yes, we're happier because we're spending the time with our kids that we know we won't get back. We are happy about that. But are we happy all the time? I would say no. And I say that because we are so emotionally connected with our kids. And there was a time in my life when I was younger, I was a single mom of 2 children. This is before I became a stay-at-home mom. I was a single mom of 2 kids. I was working a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs. And I will tell you, that was really hard. That was really hard. And I was a supervisor, so I had a lot of employees under me. But the thing is, on my lunch hour, I could go out to my car or I could go for a walk and I could be by myself. You don't have that option when you're a stay-at-home mom. You don't, unless everybody miraculously is taking a nap all at the same time, which that doesn't really happen. Then you don't get that time to yourself. And when you're what I'm talking about, the emotional connection is when you've got employees, yeah, you care about your employees, but emotionally, you're like, you know what, that's not their happiness, yes, kind of is your business, but not really. You can't control what's going on in their home life. With our kids, we are emotionally connected, right? So everything that we do is going to affect them and vice versa. So as far as that happy, I think in the long run, yes, we are. If you really sit down and look at all of the amazing positives and the gratitude moments that you have. But when you're in the moment, sometimes I think people might think, and I know I did at some point, that maybe the grass was greener on the other side because I could at least go sit in my car and have a breath.
Thanks for sharing that thought with my audience, Kathleen. Such an interesting discussion we are having here. Kathleen, stay-at-home moms do need money. Do you think so? And now, the really reason why I'm asking is because we talk about they needing money, especially talking about personal needs that may also extend to the extended families. What's your take on this?
On needing money?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that definitely everybody needs money to live, right? I think it depends on the situation though. Do you need to be making your own money while you're a stay-at-home mom, or are you in a situation where you have a one main breadwinner in the house that does allow you? So there are different, obviously, situations there. For me personally, I was in a situation where I didn't have to work and make my own money, which was great. But I felt like I did. I felt like I did because I came out of, being a single mom of two kids, making my own money and doing fine. And then I chose to stay home, and I still had that need to want to bring that money in. So was it needed? Not in my case. But so what I did was, I think that's a big push pull for most women who stay at home. And mainly it's women, the women who stay at home, right, with the kids to become a stay at home parent, stay at home mom. But I think that's where a lot of women struggle as well. And like I said, I think there's two different boats there. If you have to make money, obviously you do, because you do need money. But I also think if you're in a healthy relationship where it's our money, you do have money, right? You do have that money. I did do some businesses on my own as I was a stay-at-home mom. I did a concierge fitness business, and that is how I did bring some money in. But quite honestly, I didn't have to, which was nice. And what's interesting, it's kind of a joke that I talk about with some of the moms that I know that are in this position where they're not quite comfortable yet calling it our money, meaning they don't just use the money as they can, is it gets a lot easier. So it's okay. You might have a hard time right now, but once you really realize that it's our money that's being brought in, it's really easy to take it and do what you need to do with it without feeling guilty or feeling like you need to make a certain amount of money in order for your own self-worth, because it's really not about that. Yes, we need money to live, but money's not everything.
Right. Now, Kathleen, can you quickly tell my audience 5 things you wish you knew before becoming a stay-at-home mom?
Yeah, I do. I wish that, and these are things I learned as time went on. I wish that I knew that you didn't always have to, you're not always right. There is no right answer and there's no wrong answer. And that also every child is different. Now we know every child is different, but as I went through my 20 plus years of being a stay-at-home mom, I realized that just because it worked for one child doesn't mean it's going to work for the next, and that's okay. That's okay for that to happen. I also, when I talk about the money, I wish I would have figured that out earlier. I wish I would have known that life is going to be a whole lot better if you don't put pressure on yourself to be a breadwinner in the home if you don't have to be, right? Just take that gift that's being given to you to be able to raise your family the way you want to raise your family and go with it without that guilt feeling. Those are some things that I really felt that if I would have known that before. The other thing is, which I did, like I said, I learned as I went, right? So I finally got this one down as well. If you need a babysitter, get a babysitter. If somebody asks you if you need help and you need help, you say, yes, I need help. And you take that help, because that's another thing I think that stay-at-home moms start to feel guilty about. Well, I'm the one that should be watching these kids, or I should be doing this. Well, you know what? We can't do everything. We can't do everything. So for me, I ended up getting somebody that would come a certain amount of time every week. And that's when I would schedule my things, right? Because we have doctor's appointments, we have things that we have to get to, and we might want to go get our hair done at some point. I mean, let's just be real. So I think accepting help. So friends, family, whoever says, hey, can I help you out with the kids to do this, that, or the other? Say yes. if they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't ask. And that's something that I resisted for a long time because I thought, well, I should be able to do all of this stuff on my own. But no. So it was got a lot less pressure on myself. I started to notice that I felt better when I started to let go and let other people help when needed.
Right. Working mom burnout, we do experience this reality. Cathlene, I hope you do agree with me on this. Now, we do talk about balance earlier on, and it's something that we struggle with. Sometimes we always tell ourselves, do I really think I can strike or attain this balance? Now, when we talk about working mom burnout, how can we balance this act especially? Now, should we begin to consider a transition?
For working moms?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't really know that there's a balance whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a working mom. And I think if you're a working mom, because I was there too, we have to realize that that is where we need to be, right? This is the way things have worked out and this is where we need to be. But I will say something that I wish I would have done when I was a working mom was to be more present in the moment with my kids when I had time to be with them. Because I felt like, and I was younger too, right? I always say older and wiser. I mean, we all learn as we go. And looking back, I was so busy trying to make sure that I could pay the bills and I could do this, 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 and this, that I wasn't in the moment with my kids. And I would say that is something that if you're a working mom and a stay-at-home mom, quite honestly, you've got to make sure that when set aside those times, you're not going to always be like 100% focused on them. But especially for those moms that are out during the day, really set aside that time where that child knows that this is their time. This is their time. Nothing's going to distract you. You're not taking the phone. You're not, going to just watch a movie together. Do something that's a little more interactive that they enjoy doing, even if it's playing with little dinosaurs, that are running through a little field or something.
Cathlene, so at this moment, where are you at?
Right now, I am, I guess that old phrase, the empty nester. Oh my gosh, that is me right now. And I will say that it's been a great transition. Although there are times that I look around my house and I'm like, the loudest thing in this house right now is the refrigerator. And I don't know what to do with myself. So I say that, but there's a lot of things to do, but I really was focused so much on my kids for so long that it was a little bit of a struggle once it really hit me that, oh my gosh, like there are no kids here right now. So I started to get myself into some other things. And right now I am the co-founder of an app called ZZ Atom. And what we do is it is a premier blogging site. So we have gotten into that because I've been helping business owners anyway, myself and a business partner of mine, a very good friend of mine, who has one of the largest women's networking group businesses and in the world. And so we just wanted to be able to help businesses, especially small businesses, be able to get their stuff picked up on search engines so they're not having to pay for Google ads. They're not having, all of this stuff that is so hard to do and costs so much money. We wanted them to be able to put blogs out there and information and have their stuff organically picked up on search engines. So that's what we've done. And so I'm kind of in the tech industry now. Now, if you would have asked me that 3 years ago, I would have said, I have no idea what you're talking about because I don't even like tech. I don't. But working with developers, I've learned a lot about coding, developing, and all of that stuff. And along with that app, we have another platform called ZZ Fans, and that is for podcasters. It's for cooks. It's for anybody that wants to monetize their video content. And you don't have to have a certain amount of followers or anything like that. So we've created a way for people that don't have 1 million followers, or even if you do, that you can go ahead and start getting your information out there without falling into a sea of, there's just so much stuff out there on the internet. And we want people to be picked up by search engines if they're searching for their stuff. So that's where I am. Also in that, there's another platform that is about kids. And that's something that it's completed, but not launched yet. And that kind of led me there through my stay-at-home mom days when cell phones became popular. We had an issue with one of my children, and I am one of those moms that phones have to be plugged in downstairs. I check the phones, all of this stuff. And none of my kids got cell phones until they were in high school. And I now think that's too young. But we had some issues, and it all started with social media. So I am a big advocate, especially now with having 3 young grandchildren. They're 8, 6, and 3. But the stuff that these kids are seeing online is a problem. The minute you put a cell phone in a kid's hands, they literally have access to absolutely anything. So we've created a place where creative kids can also go on instead of YouTube and put their videos out there, and there's not going to be an ad that's going to pop in the middle that is something totally inappropriate for your child to be watching. And they can also monetize their stuff. But the thing is this particular program is only for 17 and under, and the parents have to verify the kids to get on. So it's not you as a parent, you have to verify. And I say this because a parent has to hold up their ID with their child. That child is the one that has to be in the video. And the parents can monitor comments. So anyway, yeah, the tech world, which is crazy because that's not typically what I've done. I mean, I used to have a radio show. I used to have a podcast. I mean, I love this kind of stuff that you're doing. I think it is so important for you, what you're doing, to get this information out and to be able to make people realize that they're not alone. And that's another thing, going back to the stay-at-home mom thing. I want people to know that they're not alone. When they think that they're in the world alone and that they're about to go off the deep end and they don't know how much more they can take, I promise you that you are not the only one in that position. So reach out to people like yourself, people like me. We can at least relate to you and say, you know what, you're not crazy and you're not alone.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Cathlene. Aside the projects that you just shared with us, do you have any other exciting news you like to share? Perhaps. Yes. And also you can share your social media handles and your website with the audience.
Yeah, well, I do have a nonprofit as well, Hopefull Handbags global nonprofit, like you alluded to at the beginning. And what we do is we help survivors of domestic abuse and their children globally. We help them get to safety, health, wellness, and long-term sustainability. We also have water projects going on in Kenya. And what we do is we raise money and supply rainwater harvesting tanks for schools in the rural areas of Kenya that have no running water. And these kids are going, 2 and 3 miles to get water for school. And we have put in 14 tanks so far, and we're doing 1 a month. And the schools that we have put these tanks in, they are not having any more waterborne illnesses. So the kids aren't being sent to the hospital sick and things of that nature. So those are some other projects that I have going on besides many. So that's what I say, being an empty nester, I guess I can call it now, after being a stay-at-home mom, it's a different feeling because it's not that I don't have a lot of things going on. It's just that connection that you have with your kids once they do fly the nest, as they say. It's not really the same. You could still be close to your kids, but it's different. And when that was your career, I call that stay-at-home mom was my career. It really was. That was my purpose. And but there's other things we can find to do that light us up.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that with my audience and for letting them to know that you get to find your purpose. No matter how it seems, no matter how it looks like, you just have to find your purpose and truly live it out. That's absolutely the purpose of life, is for us to live it and live it very well. Now, that's also the purpose of Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Now we are talking about really living a life that is well lived. So much to that. Thank you once again, Cathlene Miner. Do you mind sharing your website and your social media handles?
Yeah, so you can go to CathleneMiner.com and find out all that information just to make it easy. All right. Absolutely. There.
Absolutely. Once again, my audience, I'd like to appreciate you for the insight and for making the show a really worthwhile one indeed. We wish you best of luck in the project, Cathlene, and in also in the subsequent ones. If you'd like to catch up with any mixed episodes of the show, you can catch up on any cross-promotion platforms. I mean, any podcast cross promotion platforms or any podcast distribution platforms you bump into online, you can have a great time and listen to professionals who share their thoughts and insights, disruptive mindset conversations that is going to transform you from where you are to where you need to be. And also at the end of the day, realizing that the purpose is what really matters at the end of the day in all that we're looking for in life. Till I come your way, I need you to stay safe always. I talk to you soon. Thank you so much, Cathlene.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review.